nobody answers, and pain is all around. Sometimes you're born to wear thorns for a crown, but we all love you, and we will never let you down.
We know Connolly Memorial saved his life recently, but you got in there way ahead. Years and years ago you saved Brendan's life.
Yeah.
Do you want to plead guilty?
Just basically what happened, Brendan and I are friends since we were kids, and we were in the first band together. And we used to, as Brendan said, we used to herd out stuff from a fella called Dermot Hurley down in Phibsborough. It was very expensive. I think it was about 6 or 8 shillings for the afternoon. We were all broke for the week. Anyway, to make a long story short, there was never any plugs on the amplifiers. But we used to carry them on my motor. I had a little motorbike, and we'd go up to St. Peter's Hall. And we were in plugging in, there was no plugs, as I said, and matches was the favourite in those days. And we put in the matches anyway, and we were rehearsing, they had numbers on the side, had the old drums rigged up. And whatever happened, there was a big flash, there was a flash of light. It sounds like the words of a song, Bren, doesn't it? And Bren went up in the air, and the other lads were looking, and the other boys in the band, I think they thought at the time, reflecting on it, it's 50 years ago, that they thought it was a joke, but I knew it wasn't, and I wasn't taking the chance. So I jumped up and banged it, kicked the guitar away from him and the microphone. There was a flash, as I said, and his hands were stuck to the guitar, and I had to kick the guitar away. And I gave him, I didn't actually, he thought it was mouth-to-mouth resuscitation.
Jeez, you couldn't miss his mouth. Well, you couldn't find his mouth.
Well, even if I hadn't been needed, I would have done it anyway, so it didn't make any odds. But I had learned this little bit of artificial respiration, as we call it, CPR, whatever you want to call it. And it was a few minutes before he came through, and, but, you know, he was, look, Joe, everybody has said everything's about Bren, but I'm just saying because we're friends for so long, and he is the man. That's all I can say. He's the man.
Fair play. John Kavanagh, well done, John. Fair play to you. There's 2 segments to the afternoon. One, Brush is going to launch in a few minutes his album Dedicated, and the funds go to Connolly Hospital. But when I was up here visiting, I happened to bring a card for himself, and some of the nurses saw it. And then when he got out, he said to me, they've a little gallery downstairs in one of the corridors, and when I do a painting, I am an amateur, painting my numbers, thingamajig, and I said, Brush, well, what will I do? And he said, do something I love and admire and embrace. So I presumed as I left he was talking about cows in the field, or donkeys on Maggie's farm. So I went off for a while, and then it struck me, I said, hang on a minute. To paint something that he loves and admires and adores and looks at from. So I painted something, and Brush, come over here and unveil it. And the good news is, if you like it, we have copies, prints of it here, and there's one for everyone in the audience. Okay, so this is what Brush is leaving in the hospital, and. Do you want to have a go? Do you want to?
How does it open?
It's open. He's never pulled a pair of curtains in his life, by the way. You just pull that on toe. Take your time, and it'll hang forevermore. This beautiful landscape of something you deeply love and admire. It will hang forevermore in Connolly Hospital. Go ahead and unveil it. It's Brush Shiels. Now, people might think this is hard to do. It's not. Just put a blackberry on an egg, and you're halfway there, right? He was ahead of his time. He wore a blackberry before any of us had blackberries. A Brush with Life is the title of the album, and then what I tried to do around here is put names in, because the thing I felt could never be captured by an amateur artist. Real artists can do portraits and they capture the story of the person in the face. I could never capture that. So what I decided to do is I went out and had a long chat with him, and then I picked out names afterwards and little events and put them around. So they tell this kind of life story from the real Skid Row to Off Your Brush on television, to people like Gary and Phil, who are no longer with us, and his brothers and his family, the Dublin Outlaws. John Kavanagh gets a look in, old pal, 198 Phibsborough Road, where he bought. So anyway, Brush, I want you to present this to the hospital. Mary, are you going to take it?
Joe.
Where would it's a question a lot of people have asked over the years. One, who said Brush Shiels is no oil painting? And second, the question we've all asked, where are we going to hang Brush Shiels? Mary, where will you hang them?
We'll put this on the corridor heading down towards the cardiology department, so that it will, every time you walk down to visit us, well, not too often we hope, you'll certainly pass it on the way. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks indeed, Mary. Now the second part of the afternoon is with the maestro himself. Ladies and gentlemen, on the day that Serview came into the world, Serview was launched on October, what date, Bren? October 24, 2012. Brendan Francis Shields also came into the world on that same day, but it was a long, long time ago. I don't even think we had black and white radio in those days. It was so long ago. But anyway, he's with us. He's such a part of all our lives. We're here to honour him today. The showman takes over now. The philosopher, the daddy, the friend, the mate, or whatever, is all there. So many levels like this wonderful hospital. But ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Brendan Francis Brush Shields.
So, the first thing I'm going to do is put this mic back here. Now, as you know, James Joyce said that art is the human disposition of sensible or intelligible matter for an aesthetic ending. Now, I'm just dedicating this to all the Cosadiddletons who are purporting to bulk a church here today. The last thing we want to do is to use words that nobody understands. If I wasn't a musician, I'd love to be in the shop steward. But then you go down to the canteen and nobody knows what you're talking about. You know, Jesus, great, but I haven't a clue what he's talking about. You know? So here I am, much pilloried pilgrim with a plethora of platitudes. I think that my panache is a panacea for all my pains and problems. I have a quaint quality of quips that help on my quest for quintessence. But I like to engender an empathy with the easier elements in existence. And sometimes I coexist in a climate of convenience. And sometimes I have to be waffling and nobody knows because they think I'm more intelligent than they are. So I'm going to play the guitar here. And as you said to Brian, like, if we're going to a wedding and you start singing Joe Dolan numbers, I'm going to sing Panis and Jelly Ghost. Cantimero, Sacramento. When the boys, the priests sing Joe Dolan numbers, I always sing something in Latin. It's more interesting. So anyway, the reason this happened today is Joe Duffy. That's the reason it happened today. If I'd have turned up here without Joe, there'd be twice as many people, but you wouldn't know what I was talking about. So the only thing I'm missing today is an argument, and myself and Joe trying to get something going. But it's very important that somebody gets clamped here. And links Joe tomorrow. We want to make a word that wild. So Joe will keep it going for 3 or 4 days, I'll tell you. Forget about Brush and his bleeding implantable cardio defibrillator. Got clamped, did you? Anyway, there was 2 ways we could have done this. I was going to start a band called Brush on the Beta Blockers. And our first single was going to be See You Later, Defibrillator. I was going to come back with the gym and say, you know. I said the problem with what I'm doing now, Joe, is that I'm making an account sound like Tony Christie. People would much prefer, like, if I'm making the gobshite because they think I am one, you know. And then there's the other guy, he's like, he's not just an ordinary gobshite, that guy. Bridget was explaining to me why I was hallucinating, you know. I said, look, I'm just all the time, Bridget. Like, what it said on the box, like, when you're taking those tablets, like, antibiotics. I had that before I took the antibiotics. But Bridget says to me, no, what happened was the oxygen didn't get to your brain. And Margaret says, the bleeding oxygen couldn't find his brain. If I got a guitar, I'd do it. But anyway, when I woke up in the hospital, like I never actually went to sleep, if you know what I mean, but you wake up but you haven't been asleep. And every time I looked up I seen this tarred and sweely bin, you know. Jesus, yeah. So I was looking at tarred and sweely bin, like here I am. I thought it'd be a statue of the blessed, you know, like somebody anyway. You know that bleeding heart thing, like with the little light on it and the picture of John F. Kennedy beside on one side. I'm one of them looking at tarred and sweely bin. That's all I can say. That's got nothing to do with anything. You know? I'd like to dedicate this song to everybody I know, but I haven't got time to mention their names. But people say to me, how do you remember people's names? There's two ways of doing it. You can believe that they owe you money. You know, I'm surprised there. But anyway, when I arrived, the first person I met was Connor Buck. I told him, I'm not even taking my boots off, Connor, I'm going home. Right? He says, I'll take you, I want to go to the medical assessment unit. First person I met there was Jennifer. Then I met Mariah. Then I met Roger. Then I met Eva. Then I met Daryl O'Flynn. Then they got me out there and I went down. They can name everybody one after the other. So then I met Bridget, and then I met Kate, then I met Sheila, and I can keep going. Then I met this guy come over with me, Peter. He says, I'm an intern. I said, nice to meet you. He said, Bush, what do you do? I said, where are you from? He said, from Scotland. I said, ask anybody in the Scotland what I do. Okay. Anyway, like everybody needs a little bit of humility in their life, you know? So here I am. I says, you know, I played 82,000 people in Grove Park 2 times, international roads on my own. I took them to the Fillmore West and played with Frank Zappa, the Mothers of Invasion, with Gary Moore and all, which were some of the greatest guys you ever met. I taught Phil Lynn how to play, and he came on me honeymoon with Margaret and myself. I signed for Bose when I was 17, and I've done all these great things. But the 2 weeks I spent in the coronary unit downstairs, I learned more than I learned in all the years that went before that. And the first thing I learned was, what name of Jesus am I doing here? Then you figure out what that is, and you take it from there then. So here's a little song dedicated to all the doctors, all the nurses, all the carers, not just in this hospital, but in every hospital in Ireland. And it's a track from this new album, and the album's called Brush Shiels. Lost on the cross, crying out in our pain. Why hast thou forsaken me? We ask in the name. And when nobody answers, and pain is all around, sometimes you're born to wear thorns for a crown. But we all love you, and we will never let you down. I've seen your scar drying out on the line, waiting, fears playing on your mind. We lie awake, leaving empty words unsaid, wishing I could keep you here, and I could go instead. Thank you, doctors, nurses and carers, all those of you who believe in and share with us, lend helping hands, counsel and console. You are there on all our bad days, taking care of us in so many sad ways, as we head down into the dark night of the soul. But we get lost on the cross, crying out in our pain. Why hast thou forsaken me? We ask in the name. When nobody answers, and pain is all around, sometimes you're born to wear thorns for a crown. But we all love you, and we will never let you down. When your world is broken, full of heartache and doubt, and no words that are spoken can explain what this pain is all about, remember true friends and loved ones who will do anything for you, and it's their love that's going to help you see this through. Thank you, doctors, nurses and carers, all those of you who believe in and share with us, lend helping hands, counsel and console. You were there on all our bad days, taking care of us in so many sad ways, as we head down into the dark night of the soul. When we get lost on the cross, crying out in our pain, why hast thou forsaken me, we ask in the name. When nobody answers and pain is all around, sometimes you're wrong to wear thorns for a crown. But we all love you, we will never let you down. I'd love to come back and see you again, but meet you out in the car party.
First of all, for all those people, my name is Eamon Fitzpatrick. I've been looking after Brush for probably 18, 19 years. And it has been an experience, I can tell you that categorically. It has been an experience. He's been around the world many, many times. But I must say, this is the only gig that he really enjoyed and speaks about, is this time here in Connolly Memorial. So it's a great accolade for the hospital. He speaks very, very kindly of it, and thank you very much for looking after him so well. And hopefully we'll get another turn out of him in the new year. We hope. Paul Riley, I can bring Paul up. Paul is over Dolphin Records, and they graciously manufactured the product free of charge for the first 500 copies. And Paul will tell us where they'll be available.
Well, hopefully they'll be available from Golden Disc and H&V from Monday or Tuesday next week. So I'll go out and buy one. It's only €10, guys. All right? See you.
Just to let you know that copies of the CD are on sale here, and Bernie's looking after that, I do believe.
So who are you here to visit, Santa?
I'm here to see Brush Shiels, an old friend of mine, an old stomper. I think I gave him his first guitar, I'm not sure. But anyway, I heard he wasn't well, and I said, I'm going, and he's launching a brilliant album. So everybody's going to put it in their stocking for Christmas.
Needless to say, the first I heard that Brush was in was that someone was ringing me to say he was on the Joe Duffy show, ringing me from the talking that he was in the Coronary Care unit. I suppose it's just fabulous having someone who I suppose has such a positive outlook when they're diagnosed with an illness, and how we focus so brilliantly on getting better. And he was very philosophical about his illness, and I suppose not also that he lifted the spirits of so many other patients in the hospital.
As you heard today, he meant so much to the hospital, and the hospital meant so much to him. And I thought it'd be nice to leave an image of him in the place. Maybe frighten people away from the door or whatever, but there's an image of him here, and that's the painting. And what I tried to do around the edges are just to put in names that are significant in his life, from Grant Nicholas, the Uptown Band, which is the first band he was ever in, Margaret, Matthew Jude, Old Pal, a song about Philip, Gary Moore. It goes on, all the different little influences in his life, and that's what I tried to do.
Dina, it was one of the most beautiful days of all time. And you have people here full of the joys of Christmas, but more importantly, they're compassionate for the rest of the year. They look after people, and we're all recipients of endless goodwill, tender love and care. And all the doctors and nurses and Mary here, they're all that looked after me. That's the reason why I'm in such good form, and I'll keep it going for as long as I can.
It's lovely.